All right, so look, we are getting married this week, as we just mentioned, and we just want to basically tag cut.
So right now we're currently at our location of where we're getting married this week. We're trying, Josh is really good with taking pictures and everything, so we're actually trying to play out like how our pictures going to be taken and how everybody's going to see the camera, how it's going to look from every angle, where it's going to be located. And honestly, it's really good weather, especially after a snowstorm about a week ago. We were in,
About a week ago.
oh my gosh, we were in like bundles and bundles of clothes, and now look at us, just out here hot. But yeah, so we're excited that y'all get to take part and behind the scenes of making it happen.
All right, so realistically, this is how it really happened. We've been out here struggling, trying to get pictures, trying to do it ourselves, doing it with the iPod, you know, iPhone. I said iPod, man, iPods back in the day. But yeah, we got an iPhone on a iPhone tripod, trying to take pictures and things like that. Now, initially, we wanted to have a photographer and things like that, but just financially, just to be honest with you, it's just kind of out of our budget. Didn't really know how expensive photography should be. Well, could be, I guess. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. And so we out here just trying to take a few shots, just prepare for a Thursday. We pretty much making this video for YouTube, but for family, I guess, too, to kind of include them in the process. Because normal people are just, you know, I know people that's eloped and just had the officiant do it with just themselves, and we want to provide an opportunity for our families to basically join online with us. But aside from that, we plan in 2 years to have the actual wedding. So we're getting married on
March 4th.
She didn't know.
2021. I know
my
it.
mind.
No.
She didn't know. Nah, look. So we're getting married on March 4th, and this year is going to be this Thursday, right? This Thursday. But in 2 years, March 4th would be a Saturday. So I don't know. That's kind of what I planned, what I felt in my heart for our actual wedding date. By that point, our son will be 2. And kind of have my little visions about how he'll be in it as well. And so that's fun to kind of see and just feel like that, you know, God is ordaining kind of what's happening. But the cool story about the 4th, so she picked the date. I thought it was cool because her favorite number is 3. My favorite number is 4. It's 2 of us and then a baby boy, so 21. So 3, 4, 21, which is really cool. I don't know, she may have more to say about that because she picked the date.
Well, because he tried to do it in January, which was like, he had like a lot of things going on with that date and a lot of meaning behind it. So I was like, you know what, like the 3rd month, my dress that God has blessed me with from the beginning still fits, and it's floral. So I was like, okay, that's springtime, so that's the 3rd month. The 4th day is his favorite number. And I was thinking 21, there's a lot of biblical meaning with the number 21, but I was thinking 2 + 1 is 3, which is good for the Trinity. That's what I was thinking.
That too.
So there's 3, I guess, with baby in here and us 3, but I was thinking 3 for the Trinity.
Yeah.
But guys, do your history, do your homework on, you know, biblical numbers, because y'all might find out more than me. But anyways, okay. Are you gonna do it? So Josh and I, we both started off as best friends.
Yep.
I guess for everybody who's watching, even for our wedding and everything, we started off as best friends. At first, it was just about Josh coming up to me telling me about Christ at school. And I was very like, I already know who Christ is and stuff, didn't need to hear it. But that night, God told me, like, I had a view of Josh one way because I assumed he was this one person. And God really, like, changed, like dyslexic, how you say that word? Dyslexic people. Like how they read and they can see things different. That's literally what happened when I looked at Josh, and I was like, my whole view of everything changed of him. And I heard God say that he was going to be my husband and we were going to have children. I heard him say that. I ignored it. But God kept setting up ways to where literally us going to spiritual conferences in San Antonio, and we like randomly see each other at the mall and crap, like I shouldn't say crap, but and stuff like us meeting randomly at the mall, or every time I was having like my breakthrough moments and stuff about my daddy who passed recently. Before that, he would just have us like meet up at the church. And the church is crazy because we didn't even know we lived on the same street the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like he would just always set up these moments. He will set it up, and we just became best friends through that.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it was just all pure God at first, all pure God. And it remained about God, but at some point we kind of like started like
liking each other.
Yeah. And you know, when you get a little emotional, even in Christ, a girl kind of get a little like.
I really think this is for another video, because we can get into depth of just the realness of what happened.
But I'm saying.
But I want you to hit your point too. You know what I'm saying? But it's so much in that I feel like we could talk about.
Yeah, I'm not going over everything.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, at the beginning, like, we made it so much about God. Yeah. And it was just, like, he set it up because it was all about him. Mm-hmm. He set it up because it was just fully about him. And we didn't have to make it work. Honestly, I would go home, do my thing. Then he was from Houston, too. So it's like...
H-Town, the best town. What are you talking about?
It's just so many ways where, like, you just wouldn't see happening, but only God's work did it. Yeah. And, him finding my number that apparently I gave him at some point in our relationship and all these things, like he asked for it though. But look,
no,
it's
you
just
asked.
It's just
you asked.
I don't believe
somebody
that.
told you to ask me, remember?
No. Who would ask who?
Ooh, Sky. Your little sister.
Sky was very much an advocate.
You should probably get his number.
She was like, y'all ain't gonna happen. And I was like, I'm single. Like a Pringle, I don't want that.
She tried to forget that in this moment, knowing she know what happened.
I really don't remember that. But anyways, but it was just the fact that like we really started merging because of Christ, and through that, like we both fell a lot, and it was out of our own selves.
Yeah.
But Christ still managed because of something He said He wanted.
Yeah.
Something He said that was going to happen. He still managed for it to make its way at some point to happen. And I'm not gonna lie, it has not been pretty at all.
It's crazy though. Go ahead, you said but.
But the only reason why we are recording this today, he's been like really like...
Let's do a video.
And I'm like, you know what? But it's like, he really has fought for it. But the only thing that kept me remaining here still is because I know, as much as it sounds crazy from everybody else on the outside and all these things, like, I know what I heard from God. And that's the only thing, like, I believe in obedience more. Like, and it's hard and everything because, like I said, you have to be selfless. But I know what I heard from God that first night when I met him. And he's a good person, don't get me wrong or anything. But I'm saying, like, the only thing that always keeps me remaining still and stuff, even when I'm out of emotion, I'm like, oh no, like, you know, is really like what God told me. And I know that everybody goes through those moments where like they're like really stern, like, oh, God told me this, and you know it cannot be any other voice but his. And so you try to like really always embrace that one voice you heard and like really hold on to it. And I'm like, you know what, he said that for a reason, and everything has been playing out for it to happen. And it's like, rather for me or not, because it's not about me, but I believe it's about me remaining faithful to God on what he said, because I feel like there's a bigger mission beyond us.
Yeah.
That God is going to have us overcome, like, so many things in our marriage and stuff. Like, that's just, I said, I don't know how it's going to be or whatever, but the only thing that really keeps me going and being faithful is that, one, I have to remain faithful to my father, who told me about this and I made a promise to first. Then, I mean, I'm gonna make a promise to him too later, but like, I made a promise to Thursday, but like, I made a promise to God first. And honestly, it means more to me to keep a promise to my father than anything. And it really encourages me to keep going because it's something I'm really starting and believe to this day that I heard. And I know that it's going to be more than, it's just going to be more impactful, not for me, but for everybody who comes across this book. And so the point of why I was saying that is because we were talking about marriage and stuff, and I was saying, like, you know, I made a commitment with God first. I made vows to God first from what he told me about us two. And I know that was years ago. Heck, I even told him about my ring. I said, look, when he was in California, I freaking found a ring that I wanted, and I told him from day one. I showed him this ring when we first met, and I told him 2 weeks later that we were going to get married and have kids, because that's what God told me. Rather, it made me look stupid or not. But my sisters tried to convince me to buy the ring, and I was like, I'm not buying this ring because Josh is going to do it. And you know what?
Yep.
And that was the first year we met. But eventually, like, it happened.
Well, you know, what's special about your story, though, is that, you know, when you build a house, the first thing that's built is the foundation. And throughout the years, that house could have been blown down by anything, but it can always be rebuilt if it's a strong foundation. And the way that we met, like, it was just so God. Like, everything was just so God. I believe he was building our foundation, right? Being the first thing with us, you know what I'm saying? And so in that, I feel that, we went through a phase where we started to get in the way, but it was like, okay, we got to get past some things in order to get back into building this house and completing this house, right?
Because he said the mission.
Right, and so when the foundation is strong, then I feel like it'll come into, you know, fulfillment. And I kind of feel like that's kind of the process that we have been going through. Because I know for me, you know, I had a lot that, and I'm still working through as far as preparing me for marriage, being a father, just because I feel like, you know, my dad was around, but I didn't really see it often. I didn't really see marriage too often. I mean, there was people around me that was married, and I'm grateful for that. But I don't think I really saw it up close and personal what it really was like, you know. And then most of the people that I knew were divorced, and, you know, I just wasn't really good examples around. And, you know, I feel like I didn't really have a lot of solid men around, so just being a father was going to be the toughest thing for me. And, you know, and almost I didn't believe in marriage for a moment, you know. And so I believe that God took me through a few things, and, you know, that's why I told you the other day, is like, man, it took a special woman to be able to walk through this with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't even believe in that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's a bee.
I didn't.
That scared me.
That bee say, I want to be in the camera.
Shoot, he was like, he about to come on this flower.
But I say all that to say, like, it's just awesome that God would think about us first and want to be the first thing that roots and brings us together. And I think it's just gonna go from there. And you know, these little small years early on before marriage, I think is pivotal. You know what I'm saying? Because as ugly as it was, people go through this in their marriage and never get past it. You know, and so it's like, I'm glad to have gone through a lot of those things early on, because
now you really see what you're marrying. And now you don't have an excuse to back out because you knew what you were doing before.
At the end of the day, it's like, when anytime anybody is selfish, we're not gonna like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but the more that somebody is, you know, growing to be selfless and things like that, and I mean, living together has helped us with that. Like, I mean, it's times I don't want to clean. I just like, shoot, I'm gonna clean anyway. It's times I don't want to take the dogs, and I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna just take the dogs out. I don't want to feed the dogs, and I'm just like, let me just pour this bowl, you know, real quick. And
that warms my heart, because I'm like, oh, he loves my children.
But at the end of the day, it's like, those things it's helping. You know what I'm saying? Learn to serve you more. Learn to, even if we arguing, like, staying consistent. You know what I'm saying?
And like, I kid you not, one time I remember Josh and I, and I think this will be like a main tip that I will remain in marriage, like I would try to keep in marriage, but is that one day Josh was just like really making me mad. He just got back from California, and I was like, we both like we did change a little bit and stuff, so it was kind of getting to know each other again.
Yeah.
And I know that's gonna happen throughout marriage because we're gonna grow up and change.
Everybody, yeah.
But he got on my nerves so much that I literally went to the Dollar General and I bought a foot spa, and because I heard God say like, serve him, even though he's making you like this, serve him. And God's told me that twice. Like, the first time was with the spa. So I bought the spa and I did like his feet, because like the cleansing of the feet and everything with Jesus. And then the second time I just made him dinner and stuff, and I was like, you know what, like, and that's how it should be, honestly, because you can fester in your emotions and really get yourself to a place where you could have prevented just by a tad, if you would not have focused on it as much.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what, God, you telling me to serve him for a reason, and I'm gonna serve him, because honestly, like, that's what God does with us too. I always had to put myself in that mind frame, like forgiveness and everything. I'm like, I mean, well, Jesus, like, you did all this and you forgave us, so I guess I ain't got no choice but to forgive, you know? Like, like wholeheartedly and everything. But like, just putting your mindset in like literally, like, being like God, like being like Jesus, like, you know what, like, in the midst of this is what he would do, and I should do it too. And also knowing the reasons why you're doing it, not just because it's just, you know, oh yeah, I did this for you. Like knowing the reasons of why you're doing it, and really having that moment, that intimate moment with God, where you can be vulnerable with him, because he knows how you feel.
Yeah.
But also allow him to still work through you and serving, because as much as we get in emotions of that person being what they are in that moment, we also start to remember that there's still people walking in Christ. Like, there's still people walking consistently every day, just like us and stuff, just like me. And so when he makes me mad, I'm like, okay, like, I always have to, sometimes I'm like, ooh, because it's so easy for the flesh to just like come with its emotions and stuff and target. But I always have to tell myself,
you want to target?
shut up. But I had to tell myself, like he's still somebody walking with God too, who's going through his own thing, and who is still learning as well. And I still have to submit to God so that he can overcome what he needs to overcome in his journey, in his walk.
Hey, but playing on my feet like that put me to sleep. I mean,
It
you know
really
what I'm saying? Real quick.
So I'm really excited. Josh is really excited as well. I'm speaking for him right now. But anyways, for everybody who is watching this, you're going to watch this. This is before the day. So this is everything we're doing in preparation of us finally saying I do.
Does your
Josh,
butt
it's-
look stained?
Josh!
They ain't gonna see your booty. Ain't nobody better be looking at your booty. What you talking about, girl?
You doing this.
Say, why is you all up on me like you my woman or something?
Because Thursday we gonna officially be
Boom. Be what?
married.
Oh. So what we out here doing?
We're out here. What are we doing?
What was we out here for? What's the whole reason we out here? You know what I'm
We were
saying?
taking pictures.
Of what?
of
Not your booty with the stain on it.
John.
All right, go ahead.
We were taking pictures just because he might be our photographer. Ooh, that breeze was good.
It's safe to say that I am.
He might be our photographer for our wedding Thursday.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, how is that possible?
Ooh.
Well,
'Cause I'm
we
Josh
both
Sharp?
got off that day,
'Cause I'm
the
Josh
full
Sharp?
day. So we're
'Cause I'm
going
Josh
to
Sharp?
take a whole day and travel around and
Around.
get some pictures of us.
Ooh.
So whatever you get is what we got.
Hey, so we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe. We're gonna be dropping content here and there. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause my baby on the camera. Oh,
5 more weeks, baby.
hey, you know what I'm saying? Whoop the whoop, bang. Ah.